Yo, welcome to another week at DiNardo's Dugout. This is the video portion of the show. Something new, something different. Obviously, hopefully, you've been listening to my podcast. And starting this week, I'm going to start doing a video portion. And basically, just introduce everything. About once a week, maybe twice a week, I'm going to head and go do some video. Break down the weekly transactions, something that comes up. So we have a little bit different media. Again, we have the podcast every Monday. Definitely listen to that. Go to DiNardo'sDugout.com. Subscribe on iTunes. Of course, I'm on SoundCloud. All that good stuff. And now I'll be on YouTube. And of course, all these videos will be on the website. And with that being said, I'll do something a little different. I know right now, it's my first time. Feel a little awkward. Feeling a little Will Ferrell. What do I do with my hands right now? But with that being said, let's go ahead and talk into some baseball. So this week we had a couple signings. We had Greg Holland, he went to the Colorado Rockies. Brett Anderson, he went to the Chicago Cubs. And with both of those signings, I like one and I like the other one not so much. So let's start off with one I like. Greg Holland. He's coming off a year where he didn't play. He went out down with Tommy John surgery. He was in the Royals farm, came up, dominant pitcher. You know, one of the best premier closers out there. And then, of course, as I mentioned, he goes down with Tommy John surgery. So with that being said, a year removed from baseball, not sure what he's got right now. This is a pretty sneaky signing, especially for Colorado. You know, he'll be 18 months, I believe, removed from Tommy John surgery when he's pitching for Colorado. So with that being said, it's not as if he's coming fresh off the injury. So he's probably developed his arm, gained some strength. He's had a showcase. There's, I think, 25 teams there looking at him. So I'm sure he's got this stuff. He signs a 1-year, $7 million guaranteed contract. Now, there's a lot of incentives in there. It comes with, I believe, an option for the following year, where if he remains the closer for the Rockies, can maximize to $14 million. So what I like about this in both aspects is for Greg Holland, it's not so much that he's coming back just to reestablish a little bit of value, taking a low-end contract to reestablish himself, as mentioned, and go into the free agency market next year. He's somewhat getting paid. I mean, $7 million. Yeah, closers are making a lot of money right now, but coming off this injury, not knowing what he's going to produce, it's not a little bit of money. $7 million is a pretty good chunk of change. But then again, next year, getting $14 million. If he does, of course, remain, the Rockies pick up that option, that's a good chunk of money. And then now, 2 years being established, and I think he'll still only be like 30 years old, maybe 31, heading back into free agency as a closer, he can scoop up a lot of money. For the Rockies aspect, we know the offense they have. You have Arenado at third. They just signed Ian Desmond at first base. The outfield they have, I mean, who knows? They're probably going to make a trade or maybe look into a trade for Blackman or such. But they have the offense. And of course, you're in the Rockies, a mile high. They got bombs. So with that being said, their rotation is skeptic at best. Hopefully Bettis, John Gray, Tyler Chatwood, these young pitchers can come up and develop, get a little bit better, give them some decent innings. With Holland out, the back end, the rotation's not, or I should say the bullpen's not terrible now. So we know the offense they can have. If they can go and put up some decent pitching, and again, Holland can definitely produce that this year. This could be a team that's going to challenge. I don't know about the division, but possibly a wild card. It's still up to see what can happen, but adding Ian Desmond to that lineup definitely solidifies it. David Dahl's coming up as a decent prospect. He can produce out there. So adding Greg Holland now, certainly going to help this team out. As far as Greg Holland goes, like I said, he's going to get some decent money out of this. A little skeptic on why he chose Colorado. Maybe it was just the money. Maybe that's the best offer he had. Colorado is definitely not a place where you want to pitch. Certainly not a place where you want to reestablish value. We know he's a very, very, I think the past 2 years, a 49% ground ball pitcher. So he doesn't really allow a lot of balls in the air. 6% home run rate. So it's possible he's not going to give up a whole lot of home runs. Maybe he's not going to be as bad as a lot of pitchers who go to Colorado end up being. But you got to admit, with the thin air, he's going to give up some homers. he's probably not going to have this low 1.6 ERA and such that he had with Kansas City. It's amazing earned run average. But if he can go there and give a 3 ERA with the offense they have, that's not going to be bad. And again, if he's doing that at Colorado, teams are definitely going to look at him a couple years and say, listen, you've been great. You went to Colorado. No, they weren't your normal numbers, but in Colorado you did this type of damage. We'll sign you. So again, a little skeptic on why he went to Colorado, but overall it's not that bad of a deal. Now, secondly, the other deal, Brett Anderson to the Cubs. I don't get it. That's it. I don't get it. This is a guy who over the past 6 years has averaged 70 innings per year pitched. This is going to be a starter. Now, they know they have 1 through 4 locked up in the rotation. I don't get it. $3.5 million. I know he's a back-end starter, but $3.5 million for just a roll of the dice. Who knows he's going to play? 2 years ago, he had 180 innings. 6 years ago, before that, I think it was 80 innings. 80 innings was the second best he's ever pitched in the past 6 years. Other than that, it's 40, 30. This guy's just going in, getting injured. A huge injury risk. It's $3.5 million guaranteed. With escalators, he can make $10 million. You had Jason Hammel. Jason Hammel was on your team with an option at, I believe, $11 or $12.5 million that you could have picked up. He's been healthy. He's an average pitcher. You look at his ERA plus, he's an average pitcher. But that's your number 5. That's the back of the rotation. And you decide not to pay that. You give a guy $3.5 million, and if he produces basically what Jason Hammel would have done, you're going to give him almost Jason Hammel money. It's just a huge risk. Why do that? Why get rid of someone who's, you can pencil him in, he's going to get this, and just go for someone cheaper, especially coming off the World Series like you did? I don't get it. The Cubs have money this year. They've been very smart with their contracts, and they kind of cheap out here. Again, I know it's just a number 5 pitcher, but he could pitch 3, like last year, 4 games, and not pitch again. And now, what was the point of that $3.5 million investment? Now he's gone. You have nobody. You're searching for number 5 again. I don't really get it for him. Now, the positive with him, when he has pitched, he's pitched very successfully. He's an extreme. When we talk about Greg Holland, like 49%. Brett Anderson, as far as a ground ball pitcher, his ground ball rate's like 60-some%. He definitely keeps the balls on the ground, which is going to, obviously we see these days with, analytics. Ball on the ground usually tends to, with a good defense behind them, some solid innings. But the problem is getting those solid innings. So I'm not so sure this Brett Anderson deal being great for the Cubs. Now, let's face it, they're the Cubs. They could probably put whoever at number 5, and they're going to win 100 games this year. So maybe they're just looking that route, but I don't really get why they didn't re-sign Jason Hammel to just that contract and instead let him go and get Brett Anderson. That being said, not too much is going on. My first video, things are going to be different. We're going to progress. What we'll see is there'll be some giveaways. Definitely check this out. Retweet us. Share this with your friends. More is definitely to come. Again, we got the podcast every Monday. Check out DiNardo'sDugout.com. Also, of course, you can find me and my other half on NorthShore9.com talking about the Pirates. But again, Twitter, Instagram, Snapchat, iTunes, SoundCloud, Stitcher, everything DiNardo's Dugout. Just type in DiNardo's Dugout, find me, retweet this, watch it, share with your friends. And like I said, down the road, we'll have some giveaways. But give me some feedback. And till then, we'll see you later. So, get out.